Whoa.
Ladies and gentlemen, I
Uh-oh.
cut you off. We're stopping this one here because this sounds like it's going to go on forever. But we need to move on to our first event, our first main event. All right, and that is one that I know it's going to take us a bit to get through because I know there's someone here who, if people have listened to our weekly wrap up, you damn well know how one person feels about it, and another person who is a couple of us who were part of our original video game, the VGS Retro podcast. We ripped that thing apart. So much so that one of the people who worked on it defended it. And I would have loved to have that person on the podcast or someone from the VGS Retro to actually talk to us. Because we'd love to know what the fuck's going on, right? But it's just not happening. So I'm going to throw this to Antonio at the sound of the bell.
What about this? Well, first of all, it's not a retro VGS anymore. It's Coleco Chameleon. Chameleon, yeah. So Chameleon, or whatever it is. These guys, the size of their balls. I do have to respect that. Right? At the end of the day, they have, you know, they first had to go to Indiegogo because they didn't have a working prototype of the thing, right? So they couldn't do Kickstarter, but that failed miserable. I think they were asking for like $2 million or some shit, and they got like $80,000 or something. Right now they're asking, I think, for $3,000 or something like that, and they want to go to Kickstarter. For that, they need to have a working prototype. So what these scumbags of the earth did was take the fucking Super Nintendo Mini, right, and stuff it inside the fucking Jaguar shell, and make it. They went to the New York Toy Convention, like the biggest toy convention in the world, to show this fucking fraud of a thing, right? So there was, first of all, here's the thing, right? There's a lot of clues to bring you into this, but it is that. It is no denying what happened there. First of all, the console is supposed to be HDMI only. And what happened? They had a fucking CRT TV, and they had like they made a video of this, right? And when they make it and they show the backside of the Jaguar, everything was stayed with the black tape thing, the electrical tape, so you couldn't see inside. But the problem is that you can kind of see some stuff, right? One of the things you can see is the fucking Super Nintendo connector, the AV out connector, is pretty clearly shown there, right? So it has the same freaking connector and goes out of a CRT TV like normal. The other thing, they use a power source, like the one that has the two split ends that they sell everywhere. You can find for your retro consoles, right? Because it has two connectors, because you can use it for like your Super Nintendo, your Sega Genesis, and whatnot. Because they had the same output, right? You can use it for different consoles. So they have that, right? So there's two clues right there. They're using two things that the Super Nintendo Mini will use. Then you go to the front, and what happens? You see fucking Super Nintendo connectors, and the connectors go inside the Jaguar shell, and they are taped, so you cannot see how the connector looks like. I mean, they said because it was hardwire. Okay, it was hardwire. It was only playing Super Nintendo games. The other thing is that they had like the freaking Jaguar case for the cartridges, right? And you can see that the tape as well, and trying to fill it so that they had a fucking SNES ROM inside that thing to try to connect it there. And when it pans in as well, trying to see the connector of the freaking Coleco thing, you can see inside, and there's actually like the white color of the console of the fucking Super Nintendo Mini. So it's just, I mean, these guys, I mean, the size of the fucking balls to do that, and they're going to Kickstarter. That thing is going to fail as well. I mean, even if it was a working prototype, it just doesn't make sense as it is. It really doesn't. So it's not going to work with that. And now with all the evidence of these fucking scumbags doing that, why would you even invest in that? Don't invest in that. Don't fucking do it. No, stop it. Don't do it. No. It's fucking shit.
So the question is, what do you think about this, guys? Like, do you think that was underhanded of them? Do you think it was actually a real product? What are your thoughts? And we'll start with Philosopher.
Yeah. So, me personally, I think I kind of voiced this before on the one of our podcasts. We talked about this a while ago. I'll try to put links to it. And I personally just don't care about it. And from if what Antonio said is true, then I think that is very underhanded and it is kind of bullshit. But I just don't think there is enough demand for a retro console. I think, if anything, I personally, I can play my retro games on the PC. I can play on ROMs, whatever. I can get the controller, but a whole new retro console, I just don't see a market for it. I think they're trying way too hard to go and sell this thing. It's just not there. I mean, go buy a Nintendo. Go buy something else. If you're trying to recreate, I don't fully understand what they're trying to do or what their target audience is exactly. Like I know Tyler was really big on it, but I don't know. I think they're trying way too hard to create something that's obsolete to me. I'm.
Go on. Sorry. Well, here's the thing. Like what they're trying to do is they in their minds they're not bringing back something that's obsolete. What they're bringing back, in their opinion, is because what they liked was the concept of cartridge gaming. That was their overall premise, and that was kind of I would say would be the mission statement of the Retro VGS and the Coleco Chameleon, was that they wanted that cartridge feeling of gaming, where you could have the cartridge all in one, and that would be the entirety of the game. But the problem is that the way they were going about it initially is that to develop for it would be a nightmare. You wouldn't be able to. Because, I mean, what a lot of companies do is they develop for the PC and then they dumb it down for the consoles, or they develop it for particular consoles and then side convert it. And that saves them a lot of money on development cost. But with what the platform they were putting forward, you'd have to almost exclusively develop for that platform. And with a game system that's unproven, your market's too small, it's too volatile. And not to mention the price tag they initially wanted was about $300-something, which at that point you can go buy a PS4 or an Xbox One, and you'd have potentially an even better system. So it's not necessarily that they were trying to resurrect they weren't trying to bring back old retro games, and that was going to be one of the pluses. That's what they were trying to do, was going to have adapters that can play the different games. So in a way, you'd have something like the Retron 5, so something like that. Yeah. But it would also have a new access to new games.
Yeah, but here's a couple of things to that, right? Well, as you said, yes, they were supposed to do an FPGA that it will not be emulation. It will be hardware emulation, because it will just emulate with an FPGA the hardware that it used to have. But here's the thing, right? Their main supposedly competitive thing that they were trying to get to is that cartridges are load much faster than digital media. Now, guys, it's been now several years that loading has not been an issue anymore. Have you guys been like, fuck, it's loading now again? I mean, we used to have that in the PS2 era, PS3 era. Even. Now there's so many tricks that you can do to load in the background, so you don't have to stare at that loading screen anymore that much. I mean, they're still loading. You can definitely notice that, but the loading time, it's just so reduced to a point that it's really not a thing anymore. So what they're trying to do, they can do it in whatever other console that we already have here. Plus, when they do cartridges, they can't do anything else to them because it's hardwired into the ROM. So what happens if you have, for instance, a bug that it kills the game? You're fucked. There's no patch. There's no nothing. I mean, people, if you go back to the retro games era, Yeah, I mean, you say, well, the games are complete and whatever, you have everything you needed. Yeah, but you sometimes remember that bugs are very prevalent in all games as well. And they're never fixed. They will never fix. Well, there's some changes that they did, like in later revisions of whatever they were taking out as in the manufacturing process. Once they manufacture the first batch, they might have a bug that they might fix in the next manufacturing batch. But you have still a huge lot of people that will have one game with whatever bug they'll have, because they one of the things they were saying as well is that supposedly they're gonna have no bugs because they're gonna have to release it completely the first time. How can you guarantee that? You can't.
Yeah.
And so which companies are gonna make games for that system? Which ones? Ubisoft?
Really niche market, yeah.
No,
and like what? It was
no one.
And it was going to max out at what, 32-bit? Like it wasn't going to be any bit.
Yeah, no, it's nothing. It's nothing.
It's a waste of time, and then honestly, it's a waste of resources. All that plastic that they're going to make those games that holds a little bit of information, it's an obsolete form of technology. That's like someone wanting to go back and revive VHS movies and only make movies on VHS because that is the form that they like. They like the feel of putting that VHS disc or cassette tape into the VCR. It's fucking ridiculous. Like, I'm sorry, but technology upgrades. Technology changes. Like, I understand, like, you can be a collector, but I don't know, I think that's really ridiculous to want to revive that archaic form of technology. Like, you're limiting your technology, I think. Maybe that's just me, but I just, go ahead.
Hang on. I agree with you, but we have a member of the console Xplosion, Might I Share, who does reproduction games, reprogram,
Yes.
and this is where people are reproducing new games on cartridges, and he will tell you straight up that it is a very lucrative or very big market. Like with these games that he's been able to land and get, and people are paying the prices that are needed, right? There's a store that here in Canada for $39.99 you can get repro games, right?
And for consoles that already exist, don't forget that.
For consoles that exist, yes, that is true. But when you look at the technology, right, you're talking about, well, there's a wee little space in the cartridges. Well, when you look at the technology now, I mean, look how much on a flash drive we could only fit. 64 megabytes. Now look at what we can fit on a small flash drive. Almost like a terabyte, right? So you can add that type of into these games and actually be what we, could be better than what we have on Blu-ray.
That's not what we're talking about, is it?
Well, no, it's the difference here is you're looking at a physical cartridge versus a digital CD distribution method and a different input system. So as far as what Antonio is saying is I'd say to me it's impractical from a production standpoint because for them they're going to produce highly specialized cartridges which are going to be like $80, $90 a pop. I mean, and yeah, granted there are people that would pay that, but I don't think there's enough of a market to merit companies risking hundreds of thousands of dollars developing games exclusively for this platform.
Right.
So that's
I mean, I would buy repros, no problem, right? Or games like freaking Pierre Solar, right? This is a new game they made for my system. Yeah, I have this, and you don't. Anyways,
right.
I buy that in a blimp. Gotta remember, these consoles already exist. There's already a market for that. There's a lot of people that have that. That's why it's lucrative. For this thing, how many are they going to sell? Do you think it's going to be lucrative? How would it make any sense for a developer to make games only for this console? It just doesn't make sense. The only way they're going to sell is to have exclusive content. That's the only way.
Yeah, I got to say one thing here, really though. I mean, like the fact that they picked the Atari Jaguar shell is almost like it's cursed in itself. Because I have a Jaguar. I love my Jaguar. But here's the thing: it's cursed. Like innately, literally, it's like a tomb to put something in. And I think it's really odd that they're just because they have access to that commercial mold, they're just trying to push it. And it's so odd to me that they're trying to resurrect that one. Like, it was like one of the worst. Like, it only sold what, like 200,000 units, like worldwide. So I mean, it did terrible. But yeah.
But see, the thing is like the Nintendo or the Jaguar is nice. This thing, like you're saying, which developers? You're right. You know, Ubisoft and those big developers aren't going to be, but independent developers.
Even worse. I mean, they're developing the indie developers that have no money, and they're gonna put all their eggs in the fucking Coleco Chameleon basket.
But when we look at the list of games that are coming out for it, right? They're already games that are out on Steam, right? So
you gotta remember, this thing is not coming out. This is the things. It's not coming out.
Games on Steam where like you can play it with a superiorly designed controller as opposed to that piece of crap like Wii U game, you know?
It's not coming out. It's not gonna come out. So, I mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Like a knockout right
We
there.
haven't heard from. Do you have any thoughts to throw in this, Weiler?
I don't think Nick cares one way or the other
Sorry.
about the VG.
Yeah, I'm not really into this that much. I mean, if they make it, good for them. If people buy it, good for them. I mean, unfortunately, yeah, this is just one subject I'm not too worried about. Or sorry.
Hey, that's fine, right?
I'm worried about people wasting their money.
Yeah. Well, it's worse on Kickstarter in the sense that people will put their money in and potentially get nothing on the other end. That's kind of what I would say you're probably more worried about, right, Antonio?
Exactly. What I'm worried about is these fucking pieces of shit making, you know, they already are, you know, they've already proven that they are deceiving people.
Well, they've already proved that they also have a bad business sense, considering they had a guy on board who had developed what they needed to make a successful system, and then they like fired him. So it's already like they've already doomed themselves, and this thing has enough bad press around it that they're never going to resurrect it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? What is going to happen? Like the what was the other guys who made like they spent all the money on horse and coke, or I don't know.
That was the game Ant Simulator.
Yeah.
So they're gonna do that, you know. Even the people don't waste your fucking money. Give it to me. I'll give you my freaking PayPal down in the description below.
Yeah, dude. You all that. If you gave, I guarantee you gave all that money to Antonio, he could organize like the biggest army of engineers down there and just build whatever you wanted.
I already own it. I already own all the people here. I actually work in different manufacturing sites that do the SMT, the surface mount for stuff like that. So I already have all the contacts. They give it to me. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Fucking, I'll do it for a third of the money they're asking for. There.
350,000. Done.
There you go. We're you heard it live. We're gonna make a TCX retro console.
There you go.
Yeah.
We'll call it
And then what we will do is fucking have molds and stuff the Super Nintendo Mini inside of it. There you go. Super Nintendo.
just straight up Super Nintendo molds and just re-release it.
No, fucking go in the freaking buy all your Super Nintendo Minis and just put a freaking sticker of the TCX there. There you go.
And that would probably be more thought than what they put into it.
It'd probably sell better.
Yeah, probably much better.
At least you get a Super Nintendo Mini. Seriously,
Yeah, exactly. So, I guess this is time. So, lights go down.
You ready for the main event?
Hey, Ian, can you do my backward?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
So this is it. This is what everyone's been waiting for. It is the Smackdown for what we want to call, I guess, the ripoff of a decade. So we'll see. We'll see. But right now, fighting out of, I said, the red corner, representing Mexico, we have Antonio, who's going to be talking about the cons of this wonderful game. And on the other side, we have a fighting, I guess, a video game fighting player who plays in competitions, who's here to talk about the pros of the game, Philosopher, who came up with every excuse in the book not to be on this, by the way.
Yeah.
But
No,
first,
he made it. Come on, he's there.
But first, I want to get the thoughts from the Weiler on what he thinks about Street Fighter V, and then we'll get Historic Nerd before we get into the fight. So pretty much these are your coaches. So Weiler, you're up, buddy.
Okay. Gosh. Well, I wish I had more to say about Street Fighter. I know it's one of the more popular fighting games out there. I think it beats out Mortal Kombat as far as like an esport, and I think as far as how many people actually watch it as an esport, I think it even beats out Mortal Kombat. And I mean, it does good. It sells. You know, I mean, I just wish that Capcom would, you know, not lock stuff behind some kind of paywall. And I mean, unfortunately, we're just in that era where that happens too often, where it's on your disc, but you can't get it.
Exactly. So let's flip it. Let's jump this to the Historic Nerd. I know his thoughts already.
Well, yeah, for me, it's one of those things where, like, literally fighting games lost my interest probably about 10 years ago, like over 10 years ago. So for me, there isn't really much of a draw there to merit spending $60 for a relative. Some people absolutely are obsessed with the metrics and the things you can do in those games. Me, it just doesn't appeal to me anymore. So as far as like going out of my way to buy this game or getting excited about the characters, I mean, like I liked fighting games when the limit of a system was pretty much what a fighting game could do. That was like the absolute threshold of what a game could do. And for my limited attention span at that age, it worked out well. But now, it can't hold my attention that long because there's just, to me, there's not enough things that I can do in this game that will keep me captivated to want to come back and keep playing it, or to spend $60 to get it.
Awesome. So we have been joined by a special guest, one of our regulars, the video game hunter.
Hello.
Tyler, give a hello to everybody.
Hello.
Glad you could at least make it here for the main event.
I had to. Someone was talking shit about Mortal Kombat.
I don't think anyone is.
Oh no, they said, Street Fighter is more competitive than Mortal Kombat, and I strongly disagree.
Oh shit.
The second fight, Weiler versus the Historic Nerd.
There you go. That one is Nick.
I just think this is a fine example why Mortal Kombat will always be far superior than Street Fighter. Street Fighter, as the game goes on, they give you less, and less, while Mortal Kombat, they're always trying to improve.
Yes, and payable
I have to agree.
is awesome.
Shots fired.
Holy crap! The third challenger arrives from out of the shadows wearing a.
He's my striker. I just hit A and B.
Oh man, he come out swinging.
Oh, a Libre mask. There we go. He's freaking.
I can get my Libre mask.
I got your back, Weiler. I got your back, Weiler.
So, you know what? We might have another episode there for Antonio's new show when it comes out of the woodworks here. So that's coming down the line. We'll talk about that later. But really what we're coming down to is we're coming down to the chat of Street Fighter and Street Fighter V and the way that they released the game and Capcom in general. And I mean, Street Fighter V with a critical is considered a critical success due to the fact that it's rated 77 on the metric score by the game companies, IGN, GameStop, all the reviewers who are quote-unquote have journalistic ethics, have rated the game extremely high. But users, as in the players, have rated this game a 3.1 on the metric scale. Okay, on the meta scale. Hang on. And on Steam, it's mixed reviews, and I was going through the first 150 reviews I scrolled through. 4 thumbs up. The rest were all thumbs down. Okay? Now, we're going to go throw this open to the floor here. First of all, let's talk about the pros, or let's talk about the cons. Pick 2 cons to tackle there, Antonio, and that will give Philosopher a chance to back those up. All right?
All right.
Go.
Okay. Well, you only need one, honestly. This is a glorified early access game. You're paying $60 for a game that, if you look at its history, it has had way more content in all of their early iterations than what we have here. It is what it is at the end of the day. I mean, you have, 16 characters only. Last game, they were like 24. In the original, not even including the Super and Ultra, the original had like 24, 23 or 22, something like that, but way more than we have here. And that game was infamous because after 8 months, we had the fucking Ultra and then the Super and the whatever it was, just months after that. So the game, it's expected to have more than what they showed. As Tyler, sorry, Taylor's Tyler.
I know.
I learned it.
I understand.
As Tyler said, what's the competition of Street Fighter? Really, their main competition in the fighting game is Mortal Kombat, right? Mortal Kombat is giving way more content. People are, if you see the ratings on that, it's just way more than Street Fighter is. People are liking that game more. Going to Metacritic, as you said, Jared, right there. It's Street Fighter 4. I'm looking at it right now. When it came out, the critics gave it a 93%. And right now, the critics are giving it, you're saying high, 77, 76%. So, it's been going down. It's gone down since the last game. So this is a glorified demo. That's my con of the thing. That's really my gripe with the game. That's the only. I mean, I haven't played it because I'm not gonna give money Capcom because of this shit that they're making. Everyone says it's a fun game. It's probably way much tactical and better than any Street Fighter at the end of the day. It could be a much funner game. Yeah, that does not give them the excuse to give half content.
All right, so Antonio comes swinging, throwing a couple haymakers there, a couple heavy hits. So yeah, Philosopher.
Okay, so I do want to agree that I think that this game is very much an early access game. It is very much.
It's over. There you go. Bye.
Bye. And the winner is.
That's my whole point.
Well, what I want to say though is what's so bad about early access? We see it's being done over and over again on Steam. It is mostly independent developers that do this sort of thing.
Are you saying that's good? Are you saying that's freaking a good way?
I think it is good. It is good because you get instant feedback about what the game is. As as someone who has worked on games before, it is very good. It would be very nice to see instant feedback of how much you're making, and then that money that you're making goes straight back into development. The game isn't already out and you're just making money from the game. The game is out, you're making money from it, and you can add more content to the game. You could potentially add more to the game than originally planned to be in the game. So with that said, the game can be better than what it was originally intended to be. Also, I don't know if you guys already know this, but all the DLC that's announced to come out for the game can be earned with in-game currency. You don't have to spend a single dime on any of the DLC coming out for the game. The game is intended to also have the DLC so that you don't have to buy a second disc. There's not going to be an Ultra version, an Omega version, an Alpha version. They may change the name of it once they have a DLC on a disc. But the original disc that you bought this game, Super Street Fighter 5, the disc that I have right here, that is going to be the only disc that I need to play any of the upgrades that are coming out for this game. And to get onto the topic about Mortal Kombat, the DLC, the 2 combat packs that are out for that game. Now, I want to say that I like Mortal Kombat. I respect the game. It's a great game, so I'm not bashing it. But you have to pay real money for both of those DLC packs. Every single character, you pay real money. No money needs to be spent for those characters in Street Fighter. To reiterate what I just said, you can earn it, or you can pay real money if you want to do that. You don't have to. So, were you gonna say something?
I was gonna ask.
Let me just go in whatever points he made and
no, hang on. I want to make sure that our audience understands what is the time frame to make $1 to buy a character. What's the time frame that it would take compared to just paying the money?
That's what I'm gonna say. Mira, look at this.
Okay.
To make the game comes like simple stuff, right? You can choose only 2 colors, correct? So far.
Right.
To be able to choose all colors for your characters, you need to play. I made a math here. 900 rounds to get that. Fucking colors. Now, you think let's say I buy the game, right? And I want to play with my friends, and I'm a casual gamer of the game, right? I just enjoy it, playing a couple of rounds here and there with my friends. Do you think it's fair that I have to invest all of my time to that, or give you money to that? It's the mobile way to go. Now, I want to go to your points first. And as I said before, I think it looks like a great game, right? I'm not saying anything about the mechanics of the game, anything of that. I think the game could be way better than Mortal Kombat or any other fighting game. That could be a separate discussion because I haven't played it. People say this. I can believe that. I don't have any qualms with that. That's not my problem. My problem is, first of all, early access. What's the problem with that? There's no problem with that when you are not paying full price for a glorified demo. You're paying for a promise that something will happen. There's no guarantee that any of what they're saying will eventually come through. It's like you're saying, okay, give me all your money and I might give you something in the future. It's like, why? It's a product that you're paying for. Let's say if they comes out like this as an early access game, let me pay you a third of what you're asking for, and then give you more. Yeah, you can start making money and given whatever improvements you want to do to the game because you're already selling it. They did something similar with Metal Gear Ground Zero, I believe, where it was like a glorified first level, and you pay me money so that I can make money and make a game. But they didn't charge $60 for it, even with the $20 or $15 that it came. I don't recall how much it was. A lot of backlash. They have a lot of backlash because the game was like 3 hours long, and they were asking a lot of money for that. Imagine this game. As I said before, it's not complete, and you have to pay $60 complete game for a promise that we don't even know what's going to happen. That's my qualm with the game.
Okay, so hang on. It's understandable. Some of the things that again, he's saying that it takes 900 hours to get those
900 rounds.
900 rounds. Okay, so 900 rounds. Now,
to get the colors, the fucking colors. That's the only thing.
So, and how many colors is that? 4?
4.
4 colors, 900 rounds for one character.
No, that's for all the characters.
For all the characters. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Philosopher.
For the colors part, on the grand scheme of things, 900 rounds isn't really a lot. Now, granted, you do have to win 900 rounds. Is a key thing to take from that.
Oh my god, you have to win them?
Yeah, I mean you're playing survival mode, and it gets increasingly harder per character. So you can play 8 matches and you get your first color, and then the difficulty goes up per character. I don't remember how many colors there are. I think like you get 2 per difficulty or something like that. But I mean that content. I mean, I do want the different colors. I think it's really cool to earn those, and some of them are ungodly hard to get to. I can admit that, but I mean, it's almost like you go back and look at the whole old school like NES games where you had to do like ungodly difficult things to get these things, and you felt like you earned it. You're earning something, and yes, it's just a color, but I mean, it's not something that you can live without this thing. But when you have it, you feel badass because you earned that thing, and that gives you that sense of that old school like Mega Man, you beat this hard ass game feeling. So I mean, that argument isn't that. I feel that's not even like one of the points that I should be talking about because it's not that bad. I don't mind that. If I got all the colors, I feel badass because I know I earned it. I'm playing this game because it is like, I love chess. I love mind games. I love games where I have to learn and master the game. It's not something you just pick up and you slap all the buttons and you win. You have to progress. You have to learn. You have to improve. You have to master the game. And if you unlocked all those colors, that means you at some point have mastered the game at least to a level to where you have, you can beat this hell difficulty is where the hardest difficulty is for survival. So, I mean, that to stay on that topic, I don't see that as a bad thing. You earned it.
Yeah, but but that's you, right? You are gonna play only this game. You're gonna play it until you master every single drop of it. What happens with casual gamers like us? We are accustomed. I mean, there's casual enthusiastic gamers of this game that they don't wanna have to do that to have the same experience that they used to have before. This is something that you gotta remember. That it has pedigree. This game, right? You expect something already. I want to pop in the game and just be able to play with my friends. And if I want to fucking have the pink color, whatever color they have, I want to. Then I have to go in and fucking do this hard thing that I don't want to invest my time in. They're gonna make me pay for that, and that's one of again, that's something that I understand what you're saying. The badass feeling, okay, but what about not playing with the content that you're expected to have and give you something extra? Why have to be the actual content that we used to have before? Why not give you some other thing that we didn't used to have and give you that same feeling, but not in the backs of people that they don't want to do this?
I get what you're saying, but at the same time, I mean, it partially sounds like you're asking for somewhat of a handout. Now, I do feel like the game is like you talked about it being in early access, and the DLC is all from what I understand is all going to be free. Not the story mode should just come out. That's not gonna, you don't have to earn that. So you can I'm sure you're going to be able to get more things through the story mode as well. But I kind of want to get onto a bigger topic that is kind of the answer to your question, because I mean you pointed at it when you talked about me, and it's okay for me, but Ono, the director for this game, he stated himself that this game was geared towards competitive people. Competitive people obviously have a competitive nature. This game is open to casual people, but this game wasn't made for people like you. I mean, I hate to say it, but just because a AAA game comes out doesn't mean everyone has to buy it. If you don't like the game, I mean, that's tough titties. That kind of sucks. But I mean, it's a great game. I mean, you've already talked about it, but the casual gamer is not going to make a fighting game survive. We've already seen that. The reason that Killer Instinct, the reason that Mortal Kombat is doing so well is because of the competitive scene. Because these people are bringing in money. It's not the casual gamer. Yes, they do buy the game, but it is not them that's keeping these games alive. There's a reason why Ed Boon goes to Combo Breaker in Chicago. There's a reason why he goes to Summer Jam over in Philadelphia. It's not because the casual gamer's there. It's because the hardcore gamer's there, and he's there to support them. He's there to take pictures with us and hang out and talk to us and encourage us to keep doing what we're doing because we're making him money. He's not there just to have fun. It's a business. And at the end of the day...
Hang on. Whoa, stop. Hang on. All right, yeah. Referee stepping in. I got to pull you guys apart. There's some rabbit punches going on. All right.
I was hugging and punching. I'm sorry.
All right, you're hugging and punching. Okay. Yes, and I'm as the ref here. Yes, I agree with you. Mm-hmm. But you're saying that. So if you were to take away 100% of the casual gamer sales for these games, you mentioned Killer Instinct, Street Fighter V, and we'll even say Street Fighter 4, you take away those numbers, are you stating that these games would be as successful as they are just relying on Evo players or competitive fighting players? Yes or no?
that's not a question that can be answered with a simple yes or no. I'm not saying the casual gamer shouldn't buy the game, but what I'm saying is it's the hardcore gamer that markets the game to the casual gamer. And what I'm trying to explain is that with Street Fighter, the game is released. You don't have to buy the game as soon as it comes out. Just because the game is out doesn't mean that you have to buy it. The game's only going to get better. So I don't see the downside. Like, I have the game. I can get the training mode. I can practice. I can get good for the tournaments. I can get good for EVO or whatever tournaments I want to go to. While the casual gamer can just sit there and wait and see what happens to the game. You know, we're the ones that are going to buy it day one. We're like the hardcore people who are going to get it, you know, regardless. And we're the ones that are going to test it out and say, hey, if this game sucks, you damn sure better bet that we're going to let people know that it sucks. We're not going to support the game if it's bad. Just because we love Street Fighter 4 or whatever, it doesn't mean that we're going to think it's bad. You know, or we're going to think that the game is, you know, great. That's not how the competitive scene works. If it's bad, you're going to see it. It's not going to be at tournaments. It's not going to do well.
Okay.
That's why...
Sorry to cut you off there.
No,
you had also mentioned, because I'm just trying to make sure that we're getting these points, because you both are bringing up some great points, and I just want to make sure that our viewers get as much information as possible. And one of those points you mentioned is all the DLC is free, right? That's a good thing. That's awesome. I agree with that. But what's the $39.99 or the $29.99 season pass?
That's if you want to buy it just straight up. It's like, think League of Legends. You can buy like a starter pack to where you get a couple of characters and some skins and stuff like that. It's the same concept, you know. Except for in this game, you actually get to earn the skins. Where in you know, League of Legends, you have to pay real money for the skins and But with the characters, you can either earn it by playing the game and fighting. You can get points from either story mode and the arcade or playing online. You know, whereas in League of Legends, it's only online. You can't do training or anything like that. So I could, if I just wanted the characters, I'm like, you know, I don't feel like waiting, I don't feel like earning it, I can just buy it. But from what I understand, to kind of answer your question earlier that I didn't get to, from what I understand, if you beat all the story modes, you should be able to buy Alex day one. Like if you do, there's like 3 fights right now. There's going to be more story modes unlocked, but if you beat all the story mode right now, you should be able to earn the first character when it comes out, and then there's going to be another story mode next DLC, and I'm guessing that as long as you beat all the story modes again, you should be able to earn the next character, and so on. They might jack up the price for popularity of character, but you know, you shouldn't have to spend a single dime if you play at least the story mode. But playing online actually earns you more points, so they might have to balance it depending on how much it is. How much money people are making, but it should be fairly reasonable. I'm sure you have to work at it, which I would prefer. I don't want a freebie per se. I kind of like to earn the character, but you know, for people who don't, you know, want to just spend their life in the game all day, you know, I think they're going to try to balance it out.
Okay, all right. So hang on, we're still backing up a little bit. So now I'm going to. You guys are in your corners. I'm gonna get so far thoughts from our peanut gallery. So we're going to start with the Video Game Hunter and what he thinks so far with you guys. Has anything swayed you yet? What are your thoughts so far? Are you still where your mindset's at? What do you think?
I'm still siding with Antonio. Okay, but here's the thing. We talk about you have to download the stuff. What about the people who don't have internet now? They won't be able to download them.
Good question. And also, you know, so the people who don't have internet won't be able to get the full game value because of the way that they made the game. Good point. Now we're going to jump over to Historic Nerd, whose thoughts of the game is pretty much doesn't give a shit, but it'd be good to get his views so far and what he thinks. Has anything swayed him, you know, or he's still picking his nose and not giving a shit?
That's very likely too. It's kind of interesting to like seeing both. Like it's kind of great to see both their Antonio and Tavian's passion for the game. It's kind of really intriguing. I haven't felt that way about a game in a long time, but I don't know, to see what Tavian's arguing about for it, in the sense that it's for the people who are really committed to the Street Fighter franchise and fighting games in general. And Antonio's arguing from a business standpoint, where he's kind of fed up with this mentality of basically the pay to it's more like you're paying for aesthetics, really. So it's kind of like that kind of a thing. And to me, I'm still kind of indifferent. It's honestly like they're not going to get my money. I'm not going to spend any money on Street Fighter. I can tell you that right now. And I mean, isn't like the thing of the game right now, the only thing available for it is online multiplayer, right?
Coach
Yeah.
multiplayer.
So for $69.99, you're pretty much getting a beta of online.
Wait, let me just explain everything that's there right now. So you have casual and ranked. So you can play ranked matches to increase in the leaderboards. You have casual, where you just play random people. You can play one of your friends that you add them, which I will admit is right now is a pain in the ass. The servers are a pain in the ass. If something sucks, I'm going to complain about it. And the servers right now, I can't add certain friends just because of some reason. You also have the training mode, which is the most important thing for a hardcore fighting game player, which has some good options for different things. I'll spare the details, but there are some good options for training. You can also train with your friend on couch co-op, so you can sit down and play couch co-op. I think also, from what I understand, so if you're playing on the PS4, you can share play and have two people in training mode, which is a great learning tool to teach someone how to play. So I've already taught multiple people how to play this game just from that. You also have one other mode I can't think of right now. You have, survival mode, which pretty much takes the place of arcade mode. There's no arcade mode, which is the big thing, but it goes like easy, normal, hard, hell, and then like 2 other difficulties or something like that, to where the first fight is like 8 fights, which is your arcade. I think it's 1-round fights, but it gets increasingly harder and more matches each time. And then there's also the story mode, which is pretty much just hand-drawn art. It's not about the actual. All the fights are stupid easy. You're just mainly playing to get the backstory of each character, and they're going to release more of each one. But that's pretty much all the content right now that they have for Street Fighter 5.
Awesome. So we're gonna start the next round here, and Antonio, because I know you had some stuff to bring up, go.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, right?
Ding ding.
Yeah. You want to have your hardcore people happy, but you gotta remember as well, this game was actually made popular by the casual gamer. The Street Fighter became what it is now because of the casual gamer. But easy to play, easy to help it play, hard to master type of game. You have the same here, but again, all the people that grew up with Street Fighter that are not hardcore competitive players like myself, I can hold on my rounds with what I know already, and I like to play the game with people, right? But now they're turning people like me off, which I believe are probably the majority of the people who buy all the fighting games at the end of the day, because only the hardcore competitive people is not gonna make them the amount of money. It will give the game legs for the future. That is true, but not for initial sales. Now, here's the thing also, going for the hardcore, it's not even complete for the hardcore. Again, you don't have all the variety that you should have with all the characters. Another thing, during multiplayer game, when it works, because it doesn't work 100% of the time, when it works, you don't have like spectating, right? A fucking super important part of hardcore competitive gaming is you should be able to have spectating, so you can make rooms with a lot of people that can expect the game and be able to comment on the game. There's nothing like that like they have on Mortal Kombat X. There's no King of the Hill. There's really a lot of modes that the hardcore love to have, right? So what I'm saying is the game is truly 100% an early access game, and we should not take that as a norm going forward, because that makes a fucking bad precedent in the future that people will say, well, gamers will buy whatever shit we put inside. I mean, next time, what is it to stop Capcom, right? To give you guys, the hardcore gamers, less next time, and give you less, until at what point are we going to say, hey, why stop doing that? Stop doing that. Give us all the content that we are expected to have here. At what point? And also, we have all these promises at this point. It's only promises, right? They're promising to have this. They're promising to have that. What is it to stop them to change that? They've done stuff like that in the past. Capcom has done that in the past. So there's no guarantee here. Why would people spend the $60, or why should we take that as a norm? Why not, make pressure Capcom and say, "Hey, Capcom, will you like your idea to make early access, right? So you can make the game better, but charge half price, charge a third of the price, not $60 for for the promise that might happen in the future. We don't know, and that's my problem with the game, right?
Right, and I understand and I agree with certain parts of what you're saying. Real quick to touch on a smaller topic about the spectating mode, I agree that should be in there, but I do want to add that there are multiple ways on either PC or PS4 to observe people playing. And again, this is a way of cross-marketing, to be honest, between Street Fighter, Sony, and Twitch or YouTube, is that you have this app that's built into the system to where you can I can load up my phone or my computer or just share watch on my PS4. So there's like 3 or 4 different ways from a console to watch my friends play the game if they just turn on Twitch or turn on YouTube. It's so easy. It's just 2 buttons literally, and I can just turn on streaming. Simple as pie. Now, I do want to also add that they will be adding multiple, spectator mode and stuff like that later on. That is, again, what you talked about. I agree. I wish, I kind of wish I could have paid $30 for the game or something like that. That would be nice. But I have to reiterate about the hardcore. And I kind of want to go back to something you mentioned earlier about how the money that they're making, and there's a lot of cross promotion going on within the competitive scene, a lot of it. And if you just look at the $300 package that you get when you buy the fight stick with the game, Mad Catz makes a whole bunch of money from hardcore gamers. Casual gamers don't buy $200 fight sticks. They just don't. I mean, they're not, I don't want to say dumb, but they're not that crazy. It's not a tool that they need. A controller is good enough for them to do what they need to do. But for the majority of us, not all, but the majority of hardcore fighting game fans, they want that fighting stick, and not a cheap one. Like Mad Catz has an entry-level one that's a pretty affordable price for people who want to get a fight stick but don't want to spend $200. That's not good enough for a hardcore player. They need a really good fight stick. They need one that has precision. And so they make so much money. And to go back to Mad Catz and the cross-marketing, when you go to tournaments, you guys have to keep in mind that there is so much cross-promotion going on. You have fighters who are sponsored by different people. You have F3, you have Ben Q, you have Mad Catz. I could go on for days. These people sponsor these fighters. They pay them to go there and to market their stuff. You have Mad Catz that actually goes there and markets themselves and sells fight sticks at these tournaments. I have personally bought multiple things at these tournaments that people are making. It's a giant ecosystem. When you have a tournament, you don't just have one copy of Street Fighter and one PlayStation 4. You have multiple copies, so you have 16 PlayStation 4s, and because Street Fighter 5 is Sony exclusive, Sony is making a fuck ton of money on this game. It's fabulous. It's crazy. So for every single copy of Street Fighter 5 that has to have a TV, you have a TV. You have a BenQ monitor. That's pretty much the standard for EVO. Then you have, let's just say, 20 copies of the game. For every copy of the game, you have to have a PlayStation 4. I'm not good at math, but you have to think about that. That's a lot of copies of the game. That's a lot of PlayStation 4s. That's a lot of money from just one tournament. There are tons of tournaments that happen every year, and they have to buy new consoles, buy new monitors, buy new copies of the game because it just came out. They are making a lot of money. And then you have Mad Catz coming in. You have all these sponsors coming in. You have the indie vendor who comes in and sells different things that they make there, and they're making money from it. I've bought multiple T-shirts from people who, the everyday Joe that just, sell stuff, make clothes out of their garage. I support those people because they're going there. They're sitting, they're working hard. They're making these art while they're there, or they bought it there. I've bought multiple things. So it's not just Capcom that's making money. Mad Catz is making money. The small guy is making money. People who win these tournaments are making money. People who are sponsored are making money. Casual gamers buy one copy of the game. They don't buy a console just to play the game. They probably already have it. So, I mean, you kind of have to keep in mind that no, a hardcore gamer by himself is not making money, but the hardcore community, the fighting game community, supports a fighting game. And I want to go back and, I do agree with you. Are you guys still there? Just making sure. Okay, just making sure. I'm sorry I'm rambling here, but there's a lot to add on. I know we're kind of getting close to time, so I don't want to, kill you guys.
Look,
but go on.
I understand everything you're saying. I still am not hearing why this game is worth what they're asking for. At the end of the day, that's my qualm. That's what at the end of the day, that's my problem. Right now is my problem. Do we agree, right, that companies like Capcom or whoever, right, are we gonna take this going forward? Are we gonna make a precedent and support this business model? I don't agree with this business model. That's my problem. The way they're trying to get it out, I don't think it's good for any of us. Not the casual, not you guys, the hardcore. I think you're making a precedent that it might be dangerous for your future. That's my problem with it. And I don't think we should accept that. I honestly don't.
In normal instances, I would agree, but because of the way this game is, it's a little bit different, because with this game, there's a potential to make money back because of tournaments. But I do agree with you that this is something that I've expressed in the past as well when I worked at GameStop, because this isn't anything new, and in certain ways it is getting worse. In other ways, it's becoming just the way things are, and I feel like Street Fighter V is almost a bad example because of how popular it is and how it's almost not just a video game. This isn't just a game that for me, I don't see it as a video game. I see it as me getting it early so that I can train, so that I can learn and tools. It's like me being able to get access to a gym, even though all the tools aren't there yet. I have everything I need.
You're paying full price though. That's my problem.
Right.
I get everything you're saying. I mean, everything you're saying is good for you. I understand that. My problem with this is the precedent we're making to pay essentially not the value that the game really is at the end of the day. That's my problem that I have with that, and I don't think we should again accept that. This. Keep in mind this. I'm not a super hardcore fighting game player, but for instance, I play StarCraft religiously a lot, right? And that I'm a very hardcore gamer for that. I'm a high masters. I've played with several grandmasters 1v1. I have probably close to 20,000 matches for that game. I've bought every single collector's edition for the game, right? But that game, it's always been complete since the beginning. Not only that, like all the different expansions are priced accordingly, $40 for it, right? It gives a freaking ton of new content, right? What would happen if, I'm a very hardcore gamer for that game, right? What would have happened if something similar happened to this? I would have not bought the game. Why? Because I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right for us, and I think we should accept that as going forward as something that it's okay for them to do. Right? On principle, in the game, I might be dying to play it, but on principle, I would not buy the game.
Right, and I definitely understand, and this is a very concerning thing, but I kind of want you to think about it from the developer point of view. The developer makes money instantly, and it's a little more easy to understand from like an indie perspective because they're so small. A lot of times the big guys they get looked at as these big corporate figures, and I'm guilty of this as myself. Especially I hate EA. I just I don't like them as a company. I like some of the game. I like the developers like BioWare, but that aside, these people are making money to go back into the game, and I want to say that I do agree with you that I don't think this sort of model for certain kind of games shouldn't be out there. I don't think RPGs and certain genres of games should be out there. But when it comes to an esports game, I feel it's a little bit different because the potential for people to make money happens earlier. The hardcore gamer can make money. And I agree with you. On this point, I very much agree with you, and it is a very concerning point that I don't want to see moving forward with certain kinds of games. But I feel like this is a game similar to League of Legends. When League of Legends first came out,
you paid full price for the game, even though it was a fraction of what it is right now. You know, I saw it at GameStop for $20. I'm sure the price had dropped because it wasn't selling that well, and then eventually went free to play because it just wasn't it wasn't doing well for a short while. But now, you know, it's kind of created this whole new market that's become very well. You know, Dota came out. You have Heroes of the Storm that came out, and Smite that came out, and it's kind of shaping the way we see video games and esports. And I feel it's partly to blame why fighting games like Killer Instinct and Mortal Kombat and even Street Fighter now are going in that direction. And I don't want to see this happen in my single-player games. This is me personally, like single-player games and certain multiplayer games. Like I don't like Call of Duty because it does the same thing. You have all this DLC. You buy $60 for a game. You spend another $50 on a game. So you spend over $100 on one game, and the next year a new game comes out. You know, I don't think that's concerning to me that I'm spending over $100 on one game and that new game comes out right afterwards when you could have just put all that in one game or combine those two games instead of doing it back to back to back. But when it comes to a competitive game, it's a little bit different. Yes, go ahead.
I was gonna say, okay, we're gonna put you in your corner. Corner here. I'm cutting you prematurely off, because you brought up some good points. Both of you did, and I just want to again reiterate those points. Okay. Yeah. Point being, you bring up League of Legends, but the problem with that, yes, when the game first came out, it was a new IP, but we're talking about an IP that's been around since what, '88. So there's a big difference in that premises. If you were to bring up a game like, let's say, Mortal Kombat did the same thing, or we'll say Madden, football, okay? That's a game that comes out every year, new game, updated, new game every fucking year. Every sports game, right? If you bring up that, that's more to the liking. But when you bring up League of Legends, yes, I agree with you, but that was a new IP, so it had a lot of ground to make before as a new IP compared to something that's been around for years in the 5th generation of, right? So hang on. I want to get this is where we're going to get some points from the peanut gallery. All right? I'm going to start with Weiler because he fell off the planet there. Want to know what your points, want to know what your thoughts are so far on the conversation for what you've heard, and, you know, who do you think's leading this? If you think there's someone leading this in that's swaying you.
I think personally I'm a little bit swayed towards Antonio, because I have to agree with the fact that, you know, you shouldn't completely forget and alienate a certain portion of your fan base. You know, yes, your hardcore are making, you know, esports take off in a wonderful way, and now people are watching it like it's, you know, something from ESPN, and, you know, who knows, maybe we'll start having like fantasy leagues and stuff like that a couple years in the future. But, you know, to say that, you know, if I want to go pick up Street Fighter, it's not really for me. That'd be like picking up a Call of Duty, and it's not for me. It's for, you know, the competitor people only.
So it's kind of like if they came out with like Call of Duty. Actually, I'll bring that up. Call of Duty released a on multiplayer only version of their game.
That's true, yeah.
So for $14.99, you can get the multiplayer only version of Call of Duty, or pay $59.99 for the full game, right? And that's kind of where I think a lot of the people are pissed off with Capcom and then this whole Street Fighter thing, because all you're really paying for is online. You know, you're paying $59.99, $69.99 in Canada for an online experience. Because let's talk about it. Like the one player experience isn't really there, and I think Antonio Tavian can contest to that. Like, there's not much there besides a training and survival. The story mode or whatever it is isn't probably something worth playing, from what I've heard. So let's jump to Historic Nerd and any points that he's brought up.
Oh God, I still got nothing.
No, that's fine. If you don't, we'll jump over.
Well, I was reading the comments. We have Eric 1886 over here talking about the $60 base price for the game it'll come with free expansions in the future. I mean, that is an interesting selling point for the game in some regards. But then again, people like me who really just don't give a crap about fighting games, I'm just like having a hard time getting invested either way. I'm sorry.
And Video Game Hunter.
Yes. Oh.
It's back to you.
There we go.
Thoughts so far on the Throwdown?
Well, the Taven did mention this game is more aiming towards tournaments and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Then why bother releasing the game at all instead of release the game as a DLC at first, but as a cheap price?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're paying full for it, and I think if this is going to aim to the tournament people at first, then just make it DLC first and not release a physical copy just yet. Because the whole game is not there.
That's a good point. I think that's a very valid point. Is could have Capcom done this a different way? And
Yes.
I think it comes down to Antonio brings up the points of should we allow, and maybe it's not the pointing fingers at Street Fighter, but it's pointing fingers at Capcom in general. Should we allow a company to dictate what they're going to release for the price that they want? If Capcom released the new Mega Man Legacy for the 3DS collection, and you only get Mega Man 1 and 2, and you have to buy the other ones, right? Or beat the first two and continue to play them for a certain amount of hours in order to unlock the next one, right? Would we as gamers accept that?
Well, I have a question to kind of add on to that.
Of course.
So, say Capcom did release a game for a discounted price for early access. How exactly would they guarantee that the DLC would be free as it went by? They would have to charge you, would they not? I mean, they wouldn't make their money back otherwise. How would they, when they released DLC, they'd have to do it in a certain kind of manner to make their money back.
But I think if the company released a cheaper copy of the game, let's say for half price of what it was at, and then said they wouldn't come out with the free DLC. It would be a basic, your run-of-the-mill DLC. I mean, Capcom already gotten shit for Street Fighter 4 with DLC already on the disc. Right?
That's a common issue with game developers nowadays, AAA.
It's because they're lazy, and they just want that extra money, and this is what they're going to
Not
do.
lazy. They want to make more money.
Yeah.
It's not about laziness. It's just about they want to make more money at the expense of us, and I don't agree with that. That's my whole thing. I mean,
Right.
at the end of the day, the honest truth, if we look at it, as objective as we want to see, we are paying full price for an incomplete game. I don't think we should do that. That's all my point.
And last rebuttal, philosopher?
The last thing that I could say is honestly that people, myself included, need to police themselves more often before they buy a game and do their research. I think initially you don't have to buy a game on day one. If you're excited for a game but it doesn't have everything that you want, then don't get it right away. But as time goes on, they're going to release that DLC, and the proof will be in the pudding, so to speak. So wait a few months and see what happens, and let the hardcore gamers test the waters and do their reviews, because with the internet and Twitch, there's going to be so many people who do reviews in this game. The bullshit's going to be there if there's bullshit to be there. So if it's a bad game, you're going to know. So just wait, save your money. Basically to any casual gamer in general. If you don't know if you want to buy this game or not, I say don't buy it. I personally don't think there's enough content right there for a casual gamer. For me, there is enough. I feel like my $6 was justified. But, just wait a few months for the all the content to come out. Just pretend like it came out 3 months later. Just because the game is out doesn't mean you have to buy it. Maybe the price will drop. Maybe you'll find a good deal then get it when the DLC is out. I don't see what the big deal is. I do see an issue with charging people for an incomplete game, but if that promise is kept, and they do release their DLC months down the line, and then more casual gamers get into it, I see that as a beautiful thing because it's a very fun. I don't see Street Fighter as just a video game. I see it as a sport. I see it just like I love martial arts. And, just like martial arts, this game is an extension of my body. I also love chess. It's like a combination of the two. That's why I got into it in the first place. Different strokes for different folks. But to me, fighting games aren't a video game. They are a competitive sport. They are an expression in some sense. But I do want to say what Antonio, his concern is very, very valid. And it's something that does concern me with certain games, which is why I don't buy a lot of games. I support the indie games nowadays. But my main point is just, don't buy it right now. If you're a casual gamer and you're uneasy about it, just wait, see how it goes, and then pick it up a few months later if you hear good things.
All right,
so
all right.
That's pretty much my point. So,
but I just want to throw in. I think the problem is what I mentioned before. You look at the user score of a 3.1, and you look at the company scores of a high 77. Right? Somebody's not telling the truth, and that's the issue. The casual gamers aren't being able to pan it out, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing. I think that when people get pissed, they will probably just go ahead and bomb the thing with negative reviews. I mean, I wouldn't 100% trust 100% that's exactly what the game is scored, but. That said, as you were saying right there, Tavian, as you were saying, you see all the reviews. The problem is, if you see all the reviews, everything is negative about the game, right? I mean
that's fine. I don't really go by game reviews. I've been playing it since it came out, and I enjoy it. And I feel that the people who the people are doing a review based on the content of the game, not the content of the engine or the fighting mechanics. Where I would judge Street Fighter V on the mechanics of the way the game plays, not just how much content is in it, because I want something different than what they want. That's just a fact of the matter. I would rate it very highly. It's not a perfect game, but just I've been learning the fighting mechanics of the interworkings of the game, the way it works, and it's a very well made, very well polished, and very easy to pick up fighting game from from the perspective of the mechanics of the game, not the content that's in it or the lack thereof, but the more I learn, the more I can explain it and teach it to people who are curious about getting into it and maybe going to competitions.
Yeah,
because that's.
I get that. At the end of the day, right now it has 16 players. Next time they're gonna give you 8. Next time it's gonna be 2 characters, and then what's stopping them to do that? That's my problem right there. I mean, the game is fun, whatever. It's not complete. You guys put in a precedent, and then next time you guys are gonna be the ones who are gonna be fucking the anus.
Not necessarily.
They're going to be less and less. Then you're going to have less variety to go through. Yeah, it's going to be fun, but you only have 2 characters to choose from, and then you just give us $40 more, and we might give you another character in the future. We don't know.
The original Street Fighter only had about 6 characters and an arcade mode and versus.
Yeah, you're going back to 1991. Yeah, good job. No, come on.
That's exactly what you're doing. You're comparing this to the way the game used to be. This game isn't Street Fighter 4 or Street Fighter 3. This is Street Fighter 5, and it's a brand new way to sell the games and make money. They're going to make money.
All right, ding, ding, ding. Hang on. Whoa, ding. Whoa. Okay, boom. Now, this is the 3. This is 3 rounds. This is 3 rounds. 3 rounds. All right. So, we've.
I wasn't done. Damn it.
All right. I know you guys aren't done, and this might need a part 2, but we have actually had a very long podcast. It's actually been very exciting, and hearing these points from you guys have actually been fantastic, and I think it's great to hear that, and I think this actually moves into fodder for Antonio's new show when it comes down the pipeline. I think this is something that will be right up there. He's got 2 of them now. He's got Street Fighter 5 Part 2, and he's got Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat. So yeah, it seems like a good idea. But again, we're gonna have to tie it up here. We have to tie it up with a nice fancy bow. Maybe things didn't get finished here. I think a lot of people are weighing towards Antonio in the gamer sense of things. But I do see what Tavian's bringing up. He does bring up some good points. But again, you know, you had a beta, and the beta really showed nothing when the game got released, because no multiplayer worked. So that sucks. So, you know what? That's what you get for pre-ordering. But nonetheless, let's go down the line. We'll let Antonio cool down a little bit. We'll start it with Historic Nerd. Say your outro, buddy.
Oh my god, yeah, okay. I was sitting there, I'm like, damn, Tavian was getting, like, feel the passion here. Great.
I wasn't done.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll continue this later. There's definitely more stuff released about the game and how this model expands, and I think it'll be intriguing to see where it goes. But yeah, if any of you are interested in looking at my content, I'm the Historic Nerd. You can find me at www.historicnerd.com, or you can find me on my YouTube channel, historicnerd.com, YouTube/Historic Nerd, provided I don't get a copyright strike, which I'm finding currently. But then you can also find me on Twitter. You can talk to me directly at Historical Nerd. So yeah.
Awesome. Video Game Hunter?
Yes, you can find me on YouTube, The Video Game Hunter, or Hot Anime 32, which will take you both to the same channel. You can follow me on Twitter. You always are laughing at that. You also can follow me on VGH32, and also have a Facebook, The Video Game Hunter. Now you can also watch me Twitch every Monday on the Console Xplosion now. So please come and check me out.
Awesome. Weiler?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, he died.
Oh no, he's dead.
Oh
dude.
no, CPR.
Am I on?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you're turned on.
Okay. Well, I'm the Weiler. I'm from Deadly Operative Grunts, and you can find me both on Facebook and YouTube at Deadly Operative Grunts. Every Wednesday is Video Game Day, so I put out something video game related. Every Friday is Movie Day, and every Sunday I do a live stream on my PlayStation 4. This Sunday is actually an interactive one. I'm going to play PlanetSide 2, so the more the merrier, because those servers are huge. And only the people who play will be entered into a drawing to get a $10 PSN card.
Cool. And let's go with the Mexican Mighty Mouse here.
Dang.
Why Mighty Mouse? What's going on?
Yeah, why not Speedy Gonzalez?
Yeah, well,
I wasn't trying to be racist, okay?
you don't have to try. You're always racist. Just come on. Yeah, you can find me. You know, my name is Antonio. You can find me YouTube at Gokado Retro Reviews. Gokado is in Gokado. Also Twitter at Gokadito, Gokadito. And of course, the Console Explosions. Right.
Awesome. And let's go with the Snow Beast.
The Snow Beast. It's a Wookiee. Thank you very much.
Oh.
But hey guys, I'm the Philosopher. Sorry that I am on my phone. It's probably really shaky. There is a snow blizzard thing going on, and my internet is off. But thanks to Jared for hosting this one for me, since I couldn't really be on my computer and get everything done like normal. I had a lot of fun with this one. I was very excited to talk about this one. So no hard feelings to anyone who agrees with Antonio. I do want to go ahead and say that he does have some great points, and I definitely want to go ahead and clarify that. But you can always find me on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/thephilosopher, YouTube and Twitter, Philosopher. And you can always find me on TCX.com. And I also do want to point out, if you guys don't know about the Assassin's Creed movie that's coming out, very awesome. We have a podcast that talks about a lot of the stuff about that one. Normally, I'm not a big fan of fighting game or video game movies. I can't think. But I'm actually excited for this one, so check out that podcast. We'll try to put a link to it down below. But as always, you can find me on the TCX, and thank you guys for joining.
Yep, and again, my name is Kaztech, the founder of theconsoleexplosion.com. So make sure you check us out, where you can see all these guys' wonderful works, and check us out every Friday. The podcast gets put out, so you'll be able to listen to it. Our audio podcast gets put out almost, I think, on Friday, and then the video podcast will be the following week. I believe that's how it works. I'm not 100% sure, but that's pretty much how it works nonetheless. Make sure you join us every Sunday for a weekly wrap-up. Antonio's been doing a fantastic job with the weekly wrap-up, adding a lot of passion in there, as Ian says, compared to his more news-drawn approach.
No. So it's a good thing that he's coming back, right?
Yeah, but
no,
nonetheless...
I got this weekend, but then I got drill the weekend after this. So.
Oh, this is some collaborations between the two of you.
There you go. But nonetheless, this podcast has been great. We're really hoping that we're going to be adding more of the live things. You know, we're going to be doing some giveaways. We got some giveaways on our Facebook, giveaways on our Twitch. You can join, like Tyler said, Video Game Hunter. Every Monday he's twitching. He's streaming on the Console Explosion page.
He's twitching, yeah.
On our channel, which is fantastic. Again, I'd like to thank everybody who's joined us for this podcast. Make sure you check us out. If you like this, give us a like, give us a follow, and we'll see you guys next time. Game on, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Game on.